When I was a child, I was always fascinated by ants and the way they organize themselves and how they hunt other animals. And since then, I know that I've always been digging and looking for the queen. And it was not necessarily rational, it was just fascination.
When I was a child, I was actually born in Jerusalem. I lived 5 minutes from the university in the university family accommodations because both my parents were PhD students in the university. So I'm sure this very much influenced my choice to also engage in academia.
Starting from like the age of 3 or 4, I used to say that I'm going to be a scientist when I grow up.
I think I grew almost any wild animal that we have here in Israel. So it was clear to me that I'll do something related to animals.
Since I was young, I got the message from both my parents and my siblings that education is your weapon in this life. It's your passport.
Growing up in Nigeria, I heard a lot about Israel and how that it is a desert, but also doing good when it comes to agriculture. That was big fascination for me. We're still suffering with food production, food yield. How can we do this in Nigeria?
The focus of the research in our lab is to understand how smell works. We call it olfaction. And we use insect as a model. The way olfaction is organized from the nose to the early connection in the brain is the same organization between insects and humans. Basically, we want to understand how smell is first detected by the insect, what kind of receptors they use, how this message is sent to the brain, and how the brain reads this message and elicit an adapted behavior. One of the ways to control disease transmitted by mosquitoes is to control the mosquito. Having in your toolkit a way to attract these dangerous insects or to repel them from people would help limit the exposure to these diseases as well.
A lot of my research is focused on the right to privacy at work, something that is very important and timely given the development of new technologies that are used within the workplace to monitor and surveil workers. And so what I'm doing today is actually proposing a new framework together with the research team for the right to privacy. And we're actually joining together with scholars from Harvard, from Oxford, from Humboldt University in Germany to do this work together. We believe that this framework that we're developing will be beneficial to other areas regarding the right to privacy in our current world today.
Basically, my research is into crop growth modeling and also climate change modeling. I'm basically interested to see how the futures of rising CO2 conditions and drought would impact crop yield and productivity. And this I do using remote sensing technologies, which are basically cameras, quite different from the conventional cameras, to understand plant-based processes and to model these processes for the future, and then give us a way to develop crops that are drought resistant and that can do well in climate of more and more CO2.
We all age, and one of the things that fascinated me is how come different organisms age such a dramatically different pace. So what we are doing in the lab is taking the shortest lived vertebrate, the turquoise killifish, which has a natural lifespan of 4 to 5 months, and trying to figure out how we can play or manipulate its longevity. Either model age-associated diseases, try to find the mechanism for them and how to cure them, or on the other side, how can we really extend the lifespan or the health span of these fish? And we are actually succeeding in both ways. So our notion in the aging field is maybe we don't need to treat each and every disease separately. Maybe we should understand why all of them actually rise together or increase exponentially as we age. And by understanding aging, we might be able to slow down the onset of all these pathologies at the same time and provide maybe 10 years of healthy lifespan to our lives.
My research focuses on looking at diamond, but not the diamond itself, but local impurities within this diamond. They're like little compass needles that sit inside the big diamond material, and we can measure where this compass needle is pointing using light. So all of the experiments that we have here in the lab are using optical microscopy to look at these atomic-sized compass needles and to measure how they behave, how they react to magnetic fields, and how quantum properties of these compass needles can come about, how we can control them, how we can measure them, and eventually how we can use them. And for us, one of the projects that we're trying to pursue is to couple a tiny bit of diamond to the end of an optical fiber and create an endoscopic sensor that we can then use to scan around either externally or internally to measure local MRI signatures that current devices simply cannot see.
My passion is to social policy. I examine how religion affects a social policy in Israel, and especially among Palestinians. Like, I focus on the role of faith-based organization in providing social services. The voice of the people that we work with as a social worker are part of our developing new interventions programs and maybe social policy programs. We put this voice as a main factor in our programs.
Coming here every day actually is fun because I'm looking at the numbers, which are my data, and I'm saying, oh, this is what I saw in my head. I want to see what's next. And I think that's the basis of research and answering questions, that excitement that comes with, what am I going to see next?
So I think the Hebrew University is one of the best environments to do research in Israel, specifically because it's such a multidisciplinary campus.
This approach is what drives science forward. So I think that the Hebrew University embodies this essence of science advancing through great minds working together.
It has always been and is about collaboration and everybody bringing their beats together to make the world a better place.
I'm aware that there are many friends of the Hebrew University across the world and that support our work and our research, and I'd like to express my gratitude for this support.
And I really hope that we can take this support and our ideas and our research and make this a better world.
Thank you for all your support.
Thank you.
For a better world.